Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you managed to use the break to do some virtual networking in the lounges. I know a few of you wanted to catch up with Kath, so hopefully you managed to do that. And hopefully you've got through some of the exhibition booths as well in your time there. So now we move on to the third in our Life Lessons in Engineering sessions. We've heard from two of our sponsors, McLaren Racing and City Fibre, and now we're going to hear from Ball Corporation. And I'm really pleased to welcome Klara Svedberg, who is the Senior Director of Strategy and Transformation. Before you come in, Klara, I know I mentioned this, I'm just going to do some housekeeping for what follows next, because I don't want to get cut off. I don't want you to get cut off either. So just before Klara starts talking, I just wanted to remind everyone, after this session, we've got two sets of parallel sessions with 3 topics. So obviously within those 2 sessions, you can cover off 2 of the 3 topics on perfect practice, building resilience, and careers clinic. So do take a look at your agenda to see which ones you want to go, and then make sure you move to the appropriate room at that time. And then, yes, I'll stay in the main stage, so I'll see you for the main stage ones. So thank you, Klara. Looking forward to hearing what you've got to say. If we've got time for questions at the end, that'd be brilliant. I know people are always keen to ask questions. So, but thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Susan. And it is really an honor to be with you today. So as Susan said, I'm representing Ball Corporation, and I'm part of our executive leadership team for a region that is called Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Asia. And what I do there is I lead our strategy and transformation function. And that is all about staying true to the purpose and our strategy. It is enabling the amazing growth journey that our company is on. It's about setting priorities and leading a lot of big change initiatives throughout our organization, which is exciting. And I'm also, as many of you, a woman, and I'm an engineer, and I'm a mother and a leader and a coworker and a friend and a wife. There are so many labels. Those who know me really well, such as my husband, will tell you that I have absolutely no sense of direction in the real world, even if he does keep referring me to turn southwest or head north. Yet, I'm a leader who's passionate about direction. I'm passionate about mobilizing others to find their path, to ensure we reach for the stars and reach new goals. And I'm really fortunate to be in a role and with a company where I can utilize these strengths and really make a difference. And I'm very lucky to have a STEM education in my backpack that will help me to succeed. And I do use it every day. So I want to talk to you about 3 life lessons as I reflect on my background and my career. So here it goes. Life lesson number 1 is that you are on a journey to hold a set of amazing keys. Here's how I see it. With science, with technology and maths and engineering, you get all the keys to understand the world that we live in. And that really gives you the tools to creatively find solutions of some of the biggest and smallest challenges we face as a society. It can range from tackling climate change to solving everyday problems. And at Ball, that's what we do. We solve both everyday and some of the biggest problems of our society. We create products such as aluminum beverage cans and cups and bottles and aerosol containers that provide our consumers with infinitely recyclable solutions. And we launch satellites into the night sky, which is pretty cool. Yet, as we say, what we make may change, but who we are never will. And who we are is a company and a group of more than 25,500 employees who are passionate about sustainability, that truly lead innovation, and that are so committed to diversity and inclusion. So what we believe is that to unleash all that true creativity and to solve some of the biggest problems that we have in the world, We need diverse perspectives. We need to unleash the power of everyone, and we want to be bigger than ourselves. That means we need more of you, and we need all of you to bring your whole self to work. And that takes me to life lesson number 2, that there is no straight path to success. I wish there was, or maybe I don't. Before I joined you today, I asked myself, why did I decide on engineering as a career? And it really got me thinking because, first of all, I had to go back to why I am who I am. So I want to tell you a little bit of a story. Another thing you should know is that I'm an only daughter of an engineer and a biologist. I have 2 amazing parents who brought me along and taught me the skills of life. And since I was an only child, I was always part of whatever they were doing. My father had me helping him in the garage. He taught me all about the names of wrenches and tools, tried to get me excited about that, managed so-so. He taught me mathematical quizzes. He challenged me and showed me physics in everyday situations. Still does, to be honest. And my mother, she taught me about plants and genetics. We spent many, many summers as a family driving around Europe, visiting her plant breeding R&D sites and fields where new crops were tested. And she taught me about leadership. So every evening at the dinner table, they talked about their respective experiences, their challenges, they bounced ideas. My mother described how she motivated her team. They talked about how they developed new products, how she led her organization. My father described big projects they were working on and buildings that took shape. And I sat there and I listened and I learned. I learned about work and problem solving and leadership. So you would think that engineering came natural to me. Well, not really. I had some detours with dreams of becoming an archaeologist and a veterinarian and an architect. But in the end, I ended up at Lund Technical University in Sweden, where I found that mix of engineering and business that felt just right to me. And so my journey began. Prior to joining Ball, I worked for another packaging company, Tetra Pak. I did my master thesis there, and that was not a plan, but I ended up spending 15 years in the same company in many different places, ranging from procurement and supply chain and technical service and business management. I have done value stream mappings. I've signed more contracts than I can count. I've outsourced production to India. And I've been an entrepreneur, someone who developed new business models and business areas within the company. And I've been part of launching some really groundbreaking new business models. But more than that, I've worked with and I've developed the leaders of the future, which is probably what I'm the most proud of. And then a year ago, I answered a call that brought me to Ball, where I'm now combining all of these mixed experiences to date, and I get to work with an amazing team. And we get to set the strategy for our future. We get to enable and mobilize our organizations and work with partners to achieve great new things together. So it's not a straight path, but it's an amazing one if you let it happen to you. And that takes me to life lesson number 3. What really counts is who you are and what feels important to you. Because with that engineering background that you have or that you're about to get, there are so many areas where you can contribute. You can build something. You can fix things that are broken. You can lead innovation. You can manage a business. Honestly, you can learn to do it all. So my question back to you would be, what are you excited about? What's your purpose? You may know it already, or you just need to get started somewhere and find your path. And whatever it is that you aspire to, my advice is find what you're passionate about. Discover whatever feels important to you And there are so many great companies here today. There are so many great causes for you to engage in. You just need to dive in and start somewhere. And then throughout the entire journey that I've been on, I wanted to leave you with a couple of learnings, because it's not always been easy. It's been challenging, it's been fun, it's been amazing, and it's been devastating. And that's what a career is all about. But there are a few things that, as you embark into the world of opportunities, I want to leave you with. And the first thing is, you can't plan everything, because planning is limited by your own imagination. So whatever you can think is your path today, it's probably going to look really different, because you don't know what opportunities are going to be thrown at you, and you don't know where the world may challenge you or take you. But what I know is, whatever you go, whatever you do, this is an expression I picked up a couple of years ago, be micro ambitious. And what that means is, don't be ambitious about what title you're going to have or what you're going to be, but be really ambitious about what you do and the impact you make on businesses, the world, the people around you, because that's what's going to unlock those doors for you. It's not what you want to become, it's what you do. And the better you do, the more you help others, the more you make things happen, the more new doors will open up for you. And as they do, here comes my number 3. You have to say yes far more than you say no. And it's probably especially to women, because if we overgeneralize, I see so many women, myself included, that say no until we're 100% certain of something. And that's never going to happen. So you need to say yes. You need to say yes when it's scary. You need to say yes when you don't think that you're fully there, when you don't know exactly if you can do it or not. And what I've tried to teach myself, and what I've tried to leave behind to the people I work with, is, if someone believes in you and believes you can do it, it's on them. Do it, try it. And if you fail, it's not the end of the world. But if you never try, you don't learn and you don't get anywhere. But then the saying no is another important one, because it comes down to integrity. It comes down to knowing what you believe in and what you believe is right, and really standing up for that. So say yes when it's scary, and say no when it's not right. And you're going to have a lot of those situations in your career ahead of you as well. And that's when you need to come back and say, who am I? What is my purpose? And what is the path? And what's the legacy I want to leave behind? So with that, remember, you hold the keys. There is no straight path. And what counts is what's important to you. So now it's up to you. Go understand the world. Go make it a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Klara. That was brilliant. A lot of stuff I recognised in myself there. So brilliant. And the sessions before, I don't know if you caught any of those, but
I was not able to. No.
A lot of sessions talking about feeling underconfident, feeling like you might, you're not confident that you're able to do those roles. I think some people call it imposter syndrome. I'm not keen on that term, but and I think you've captured it perfectly there, around, do things that you're not 100% sure about, because otherwise those opportunity doors do not open up, and no one starts off knowing it all. So I think
don't learn a lot. You don't learn enough, because it's when it's really scary, and when you don't really know how to deal with things, that you actually develop yourself, and when you learn, because otherwise you you limit yourself in a way.
That's it. Yeah. So I think what you said today, well, I've filled a lot of people who are clearly feeling a little bit unsure, clearly because they're at the beginning of their careers or, just studying. You've reassured them, and I think that's great. If you've got questions, please do put them in the chat and we'll field them to Klara. In the meet, lots of thanks coming through, Klara. So obviously we've opened up everyone's insecurities and you've now helped them manage them. A couple of things you said that really resonated with me was around, being unplanned. And I think there's lots of discussion. You all know this. People are like, oh, tell me your 5-year plan, etc., etc. And actually, I think a bit like you, my career has been quite unplanned, but through that, I've managed to follow what I like, understand what I don't like, and that sort of thing. So
I always used to talk whenever we have, and it's a big part of my job as a leader as well, how to develop others and how to mentor and coach other people around me. I like to talk about ingredients. Yeah. So what are ingredients that you
Everyone
want?
Loves food.
Yeah. And then you can make whatever recipe out of it as well, because if you limit yourself to a title or a role or a specific company, you might not see all the opportunities that are out there. But if you know that I want to have a role that is connected to industry and manufacturing, or I want to be part of a sustainability journey, or I want to work with consumer products, or I want to be a leader, then you get your ingredients and you can actually mix and match them in so many different ways, and it opens just more doors, more paths.
Using that, do you think that's where a lot, I mean, you've obviously made it very clear there that Ball are really keen to get, diverse thinking, obviously more women, and just make their workforce diverse so they get this creativity. Do you think that people are missing a trick there in not describing roles more in those terms, in the ingredients, so that people then can recognize some of those ingredients rather than, oh, I don't want to be, a such and such job title? Do you think there's work to be done there?
Absolutely. I think there is a lot of work to be done there in how ads are written.
Yeah.
And it is really easy to do a massive laundry list. And I think that comes back to my maybe an oversimplification. But if 10 women read an ad and they tick 8 of the 10 boxes, maybe 8 of them they don't apply.
Yeah.
And generalizing, I would say 7 to 8 of the men will apply, even though they don't fulfill all the boxes. So it is about, what do you really want? What's the purpose of this role? And you need to think about how you write and how you search for talent.
Yeah, I think there's that. But another message that hopefully will fill people with hope there is that, employers such as yours are really hungry for sort of talented people that are on this call. So get in touch with Klara, everyone.
Yes, do it. And I think one of the other things I'm really proud of, as if you look at our leadership team, we're an industry, right? If you look at our industry and our leadership team for the region, half of our leadership team we're women, and the other half is men. My president, Carrie, she's a woman, and she's gone the hard way around the company, done a lot of different things. And the thing that we speak about in every senior call, in every important part of the company, is the two things, because diversity is one thing, but inclusion is what makes it happen. Is, can everyone be there, and are they heard, and do they get a chance? So you need both. But it's really about, if we want to sell products or services or whatever it is we do as a company to the outside world, why would we not look like the world around us?
That's it. Yeah,
it's just blind spots, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it makes business sense. It's true.
It does.
Got a couple of questions coming in.
Yay.
So Claudia's asked, Claudia, I'm gonna have a word with you. Do you ever feel like you're not enough? Does it ever get better?
Absolutely. Yes. Of course I do. Of course I do. I think it happens a lot because you want to be the best mother and the best leader and the best person at work. So of course that happens. And I think we just have to remind ourselves that we're human. We're all human.
Yeah. And be
Yeah.
okay with not being
It's
perfect.
okay. Yes.
Yeah.
I have to remind myself every day. That's the way it is. Good question.
Yeah. So so just frame things more positively, be comfortable with where you are with things, be open to learning, I think is what I've heard
Yeah.
you talk about.
A
Great.
friend of mine used to say, don't be a know-it-all, be a learn-it-all.
Oh, great. That's
And
so
I like
good.
that
Yeah.
expression
Yeah,
because that's what it's all
perfect.
about. You don't have to
It
know
is.
everything. You just
Yeah.
have to be
And
curious.
no one likes a know-it-all either, do
Oh,
they?
no, definitely not.
Next question is from Claire. Engineering is such a massive field. Sounds like you've had lots of different jobs in different situations. Did you go for each job? And if so, how did you look for them? How did you know what you were looking for? I guess Claire's getting at here. Or did people come
Yeah.
to you and offer you roles? And then
Most
how
of
did
the
you
time
decide it was
say,
right?
oh, sorry. How did I decide it was right? So most of the time, and that was the beauty of coming into a large corporation as a first step, I probably did well, and I got questions if I wanted to take on the other roles.
Yeah.
So I would say the first 3 or 4 roles that I had was natural evolutions of what I was doing. So it was going into managing the team that I was part of. It was going into reorganization and getting a bigger team. It was taking a step to the right and managing a different part of the organization. And I did that for a couple of times when it was actually more asked of me. We think this is right for you. Why don't you apply? We think this would be part of your development path. So I was lucky in that sense. And then after a couple of years, I spent 8 years on the procurement and supply chain side, where it was more an evolution and natural kind of progression. I made a conscious choice that I didn't want to go further up. I didn't want to become my boss, right? I wanted to learn something different. And then I started to activate that network and see what other opportunities were out there. And by a little bit of chance and a little bit of luck, there was a new business area shaping up in the company, and they needed somebody who lead it. And I was on the supply chain and procurement side, right? This was business development and sales and product development, but they took a chance in me, and I jumped. And it was a conscious jump. It was a really scary jump, but I'm so happy I did that. And then that grew and developed into more business leader roles as I was in the Tetra Pak days. And then after 6 or 7 years of doing that, it was the same thing. Done here now. I've done what I came here to do. I need to learn something new. So I started to activate a couple of paths. And before I found Ball found me, and I'm exceptionally excited about that. And at that point of time, to me, it was all about what difference can I make? What's the company culture? Can I apply my skills and make a difference where I go? So that was my ingredients list.
Yeah, perfect.
And
sort of building on that, we've got a question from Chuk. Have you had instances where you need, I'm going to answer this for you. Yes, you have had instances where you need to ask for help. I think what I'm hearing a lot from the questions is people seem afraid to look vulnerable, or it's not even vulnerability, is it? It's recognizing where your strengths and weaknesses are. So can you tell us some instances where you've asked for help, where you've delegated?
God, I think I do it every day.
Yeah, exactly. It's
and
normal,
especially
right?
the kind of role that I have. I'm leading strategy and change means I go across the business all the time. I don't know everything. I'm not supposed to know everything. I fill in the blanks, and I'm kind of working the gray space, and I'm mobilizing and energizing and connecting dots. I ask for help all the time because there's no way I can know everything. I have to float in that, and I have to challenge and say, why are you doing it that way? That doesn't make sense to me. But this is why. Okay, that makes sense. So I have to be in that circle all the time. And then I think with my team, I keep reminding them all the time, I have one rule. It's okay to fail, but it's not okay to fail if you don't ask for help.
Yes.
And it's not okay to not help if somebody asks you.
Oh, great.
Those are the only non-negotiables. because we're not meant to do this alone.
That's
That's not what it's about.
Oh my goodness. Everyone go and wait for Klara where you feel safe to ask for help. I think that's so important though, isn't it? And I think, that's a really good point, especially in a strategic role where you can't know the ins and outs of things and you very much rely on other people. We've got only 4 minutes, so this is going to be a quick question from Uana regarding saying yes to things which are scary. Have you ever regretted saying yes to something?
I have. I have. I have. I won't bore you with the details, but I regret one thing, and it's taking a role, and it's because my gut. It wasn't because it was scary, because my gut was telling me, I don't think this is going to work.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I did it anyway, and I ended up in a place where I didn't like the direction things were going, and then I changed.
Yeah.
And that's the thing as well, right? If you realize it's not the end of the world, you can just go, this wasn't right for me. I don't like this, and you can change. You can do something different.
Make a new decision. That's it. Great. Yeah. Well, I am going to. That's fantastic. I think I am going to leave on that note, because I think you've definitely pulled out the positives, and I think if people listening to you speak haven't heard loudly and clearly, it's okay not to be the best one every single time.
Yeah.
It's okay not to have a plan. It's okay to ask for help, are the messages that I've heard. So people seem very worried about those things, which, is fair enough when you're early in your career. So hopefully you've given some people some hope. And looking at the messages, I think people are grateful for hearing you talk. So thank you so much, Klara. That's been.
Thank you for inviting me. It was lovely. Of course. Enjoy the rest of your event.
Thank you so much. Connect with Klara, everyone, if you want.
Do it.
We love networking.
Yes.
So I'm just going to use the last couple of minutes just to remind people about the sessions that are coming next. So we've got 5 minutes before the next session starts, and that will be in parallel. So you'll need to choose between perfect practice and building resilience and careers clinic. And then those 3 topics will be repeated at 4:25. So you can do 2 of the 3, and you just need to go back out of this session and then go into the room via the agenda into the one you want. All the details of the speakers and their topics are on the agenda. But like I say, just echo what Klara said there. Please do feel free to connect to the speakers today through LinkedIn or through WES. Hopefully through WES, but networking is so key to getting advice. And, I think Amelia and Kathy spoke about, finding supporters within your networks. And I think, things such as a student conference are excellent places to do that. So enjoy the 2 sessions this afternoon, and I will see you afterwards. Thank you, everyone.